What's up, Falcon fans and non-Falcon fans? On today's episode of Atlanta Falcons 2023 Depth Chart Review, Part 4, Offensive Line Edition, and we can clearly see these are the starters on the screen. And if you guys like this type of content, let me know by hitting that like button, and share this video with your friends and foe, and if you do a huge favor for your boy, hit that subscribe button. I know you guys have been doing it, and thank you guys from the bottom of my heart, and if you guys hate this type of content, let me know by hitting that dislike button. It won't hurt your boy's feelings, well, maybe just a little bit. But on that note, let's just dive into the video. With my Jagan eye activated. Okay, I'm sorry, I watch way too much anime. I love Yu Yu Hakusho. But besides that, this is our legendary left tackle, Jake Matthews. Came from Texas A&M back in 2014 NFL Draft, first round, 6th overall pick. And yes, he's still a staple through this Atlanta Falcons organization, and it was a home ringer for this pick. If my sources are correct, and they should be, by the way, because I'm not paying nobody, because I'm not getting paid at all, he only missed one game in his entire career, and that was in his rookie year, where he got banged up in the knees. But besides that, what's impressive to me, that the Atlanta Falcons extended his contract worth 3 years up to $55 million extension. So congratulations to my boy, because he well deserved that contract. And last year he played all 17 games, where you see on the screen, with he a total accumulated over 1,047 snap counts. Overall, PFF gave him a 77.2 overall grade, so that's pretty good in my book. That's like a almost a B, I guess. But he did allow 6 penalties, and he did give up 4 sacks. Now I can't remember how that happened again, because I have to watch all of those 17 games. But right here on the screen, that's pretty darn good. And frankly, I don't remember him giving up more than 5 to 6 sacks per season anyways, so he's been pretty consistent enough. I know a couple times he should have been in the Pro Bowl, because he was selected in the Pro Bowl back in 2018, but there's other times he should have been in there, but he never did, because the Pro Bowl is a huge joke, by the way. It's all about characters and status and who's famous, not about what you do and how much you put on that year. But besides that, I think he's a great staple, so let's carry on to the next guy. As it states right now, Matt Hennessey will be our starting left guard moving forward until anything changes, because he was previously drafted as a center out of Temple back in 2020 with the 3rd round selection. I think with the 8th pick. Please don't quote me on that if I'm wrong. But, things happened last season with the injury bug, so we had to move him around to fill a hole in need. So on that note, like I stated previously, we signed him back in 2020, signed a 4-year contract worth $4 million. And for this season, he only played in 11 games. He kind of banged up here or there and missed a couple things, with a grand total of 157 snaps. So overall grade, PFF ranked him 75.4. So that's pretty good, but then again, he didn't get to play the full season, so that leading number can be a little bit misleading. But even still, when he was on the field, he only caused 3 penalties and only allowed 2 sacks. So, was he awful? No. Was he excellent? No. I thought he did a good job when the time came for him to switch to a different position, so I'm not going to hate him on that. Now, can he improve? Yes, I think all Falcon fans want their players to improve tremendously so they can become a better person and help this team move into the right direction to touch and taste the milk and honey eventually, right? I did see a lot of times when I was kind of noticing how he used his hand placement. They were pretty good, and I thought he did a great job in creating holes for Tyler Algier and all the rest of our boys to find great holes. So, on that note, let's go to the next guy. Now, let's talk about our starting center, Drew Dalman. Now, we drafted him back in 2021. We signed him to a 4-year contract worth $4 million. Now, he played all 17 games last season. He grand total over 1,051 snaps. Overall grade was not great, 65.9, and I think that's a D, but he allowed 9 penalties. That's bad. But the only good thing I really thought was about the stats was he didn't allow any sacks. So that's not bad. That's pretty good. Okay, so there were a couple problems I did notice straight off the bat. the snap count between the quarterbacks was horrendous. There were more times than not, maybe at least more than 4 to 7 times the ball was missnapped. That has to be cleaned up, most definitely, because a lot of times when that happens, it's just a big confusion. It kills the momentum, and those things are very critical for a quarterback and their handler to making sure you don't damage your hands. Because believe me, if anybody that plays football or anybody has played quarterback, and when you're going up to a big boy slapping his ass, he's gonna force the ball, and if you don't do it the correct way, your hands can jam. Believe me, I've done that before. I'm a small dude, so when I had to do it when we're playing street football, by the way, that's not like realistically, claim I actually play real football, but when that actually happened, my hand hurt. I fumbled so many times. Even the other quarterbacks were doing it. Of course, we're not pros, but besides that, I just want to give you an example on this is a definitely critical thing that Drew Dalman has to fix. Now, if I think about it, I shouldn't say slap bash. I was thinking the Kill and Peel skit when I meant to say go underneath. So that's my bad, you guys. Oh, God.
All I know since I was a little kid is to catch fly balls and to say slap ass every single time. Slap ass! This is the major leagues, Rappi.
We have a situation on our hands where I think that Drew Dalman did a better job last year than this year. And I really don't know why he did. Maybe because he was a rookie back then, so there wasn't a lot of pressure. There's a lot of things he do need to work on, especially his mobility to the second level of high leverage, how he used his stance correctly. Now, his hands are a 50-50 with me because we can clearly see he can give up and get penalties, and that's not a great thing in my opinion. You do not want to cause penalty at all costs. But then again, he didn't allow anyone to sack his quarterback. Now, about the hurries, that's a little bit different story, but at the end of the day, you did not allow your quarterback get the major cheese, and that's something great in my opinion. But there are things he has to work on. Maybe tutelage, or maybe someone we can get to really tutor him and really understand the craft. But then again, he didn't do that last year, or we didn't do that last year, and he performed better than last year. So I really don't understand what his mindset is going. I do hope that he grows more into this. Maybe, he needs to, step back and then really expose himself to realize, okay, what do I need to learn? What kind of mastery I have to craft for myself as a person? Do I want to contribute more than not? All that cool mental palaver type of situation. But I do believe in him. I think he can be stable because he's proven his rookie year he has the flexibility to do these things. So on that note, let's dive into the next guy. There's no need to introduce this king of kings when it comes to the right guard position. He is Chris Lindstrom, drafted back in 2019 with the 14th overall pick in the first round. And I remember clearly a lot of people were not happy about this pick. They shunned this pick. They despised this pick. They made fun of the Falcons for this pick. But look at him now. He got extensions, mother cluckers. Okay, he signed a 5-year deal worth that much money. I can't even pronounce it because your boy failed math at an adolescent and also dyslexic as hell. So that's why I won't even pronounce this. But congratulations from my man. He played in all 17 games this season, total over 1,047 snap counts, and PFF most gracefully gave him the best overall score when it comes to the right guard position with a 95.0. Fantastic. And then he did give a little bit of a penalty problem, only by 2, not that much, but only allowed 2 sacks. So that's pretty crunk in my book. I would explain more on his positives and negatives, but if you guys remember, I did Atlanta Falcons Season 2, Episode 2 on this guy. So if you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the links below so you guys can watch it if you guys didn't have a chance to. It's a fantastic piece of artwork that I put out, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. So on that note, let's continue with the final guy. Now, the Atlanta Falcons just re-signed their right tackling star, Kaleb McGary, to a 3-year contract worth $34 million. So that's great news because a lot of people wanted him back because we thought that he improved tremendously from the previous years, and he did. Statistics have shown it was a better season for him, and he deserved what he got. He got paid the right amount of money I thought he was worth. Now, he started all 17 games last year, a grand total of 1,051 snaps. And overall, PFF gave him an 86.6, so that's a B+. And he only caused 5 penalties. Of course, he allowed 6 sacks. And that's still an issue for him to giving up more sacks than he should have. I mean, think about it. Back in 2019 when we drafted him, when we traded back in the first round to get him with the 31st overall pick, we thought he would be a stellar, a beast, a gorilla killer. I mean, he still is, but we were hoping he would be that from day one. Clearly, there were some medical issues with his heart and his chest that kind of prevent him to do a lot of things I think he can be doing. But even still, was he the right pick for the Atlanta Falcons? So I will argue, yes, he did what we thought he would be doing with a different head coaching mentality. Remember, because Dan Quinn got him, and then Arthur Smith took over, and then Arthur Smith kind of realized, okay, he's more suited to the run game, and that's fine, because that's what the Falcons are here for, ground and pound the football. And when I was watching the tape, and a lot of you guys also saw it too, live and rewatching these films and these highlights, where Tyler Algier or Cordell Patterson or any of the other running backs go toward his sides, he makes monstrous moves where he dog piles everybody out of the way so they can get large gapping holes. That's fantastic. That's an A+. Now, when it comes to protecting the quarterback in the passing game, that's something he has to clean up dramatically, and there's nobody trying to defend him on that, because that's the biggest key thing he needs to work on, his mechanics when he's trying to making sure that the defenders does not get beat, because a lot of times he gets beat way too easily with these swim moves, and the easiest thing to do is to clean up his form and his stance, and he will improve on that. Then he'll be an all-pro right tackle, no question about it. Now let's talk about the other guys that are below the starting ranks. Here are the other offensive linemen that the Atlanta Falcons have at their disposal. They are Tyler Vrabel, who I think has a 1 or 2 year future contract with the team. I'm not sure. Hopefully he pans out with us, because you know his father is Mike Vrabel from the Tennessee Titans. That should have told Tyler how to handle defensive scheme, because his father was a great linebacker for the New England Patriots from 2001 through 2010 or something like that. Don't quote me if I'm wrong again. And we just grabbed Joshua Miles from free agency a couple of days ago because the Arizona Cardinals released him. Now he's 27 right now as we stand, and the Atlanta Falcons signed him to a 1-year contract worth $1 million. Will he be part of the 53-man roster? I don't know. Will he be cut during the preseason? Will he be a practice squad member? Who knows? Just right now, he's on the squad. So now let's talk about Jalen Mayfield. I know he's a controversial pick for a lot of Falcon fans. We signed him back in 2021, where we signed him to a 4-year contract worth $5 million. So now a lot of people were saying, well, he was a bust because he was terrible. PFF graded him as the worst, left guard at history probably. Now I did my first season on Atlanta Falcons Case Files series on him, and I really looked into how he uses his stance, how he uses his arms, his IQ test. Yes, sometimes he did get beat by dominant, already proven veterans, but then sometimes he handled himself against already proven veterans. So it was a 50-50 toss-up. I really was very impressed. I understand that he was not in the right position when he was thrown into it. Regardless, I hope that he improved this season by taking a step back, really learning, the correct way of how to pursue yourself as a left guard. Hopefully he can come back, compete for a starting job, and he can win the job, because he does do some really fantastic work. But a lot of people like to throw negativity out there and not give him his licks, not giving his props when he actually does something good. So on that note, we're going to talk about Kyle Hampton. Have no idea what's the contract worth. I have no idea if he's going to be a practice squad, uncut, or a roster spot player. I don't know. Don't really know a lot about his game. So sorry, my boy, but I don't think he's going to make it. So now let's talk about Ryan Nesle. Again, he's been on the squad maybe a year or two. practice squad, maybe bottom of the barrel of depth chart, so hasn't really shown any stats or any statistics to really back up his claim. Is he able and capable of helping this franchise out right now? So don't know anything about that. And then you got Jonathan, and then Harrison, again, don't know. I'm sorry, my boy. I do appreciate you for trying to contribute, and hopefully you can at some point, but I just don't see that happening right now. And then we got Justin Schaefer that we got last year. Now, he's a very interesting story. There's a lot of conflicting reports. He was injured, or he just wasn't good enough to be on the squad, so we cut him, and then we signed him back. So I don't know about that. And then you got my boy Jermaine Fettery. Yeah, some people are saying he was good when he was on the track, and I say, when he was there, he didn't really do anything in my eyes to say, oh yeah, he's definitely the right type of right tackle for us. So I do know he signed a 1-year contract worth $1 million as well as everybody else. But on that note, I am very impressed with the Atlanta Falcons accomplished with their offensive line. Now, of course, the left guard and the center are big question marks moving forward, but I am more confident enough they will handle that in the draft and maybe more in free agency before the season starts. But on that note, thank you guys so much for watching this type of content at the very end of this episode. I can't thank you guys more enough for just stopping and taking your own personal time to watch these videos. So on that note, what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.